And when you fail to change, change will change you. And when change changes you, you are in a serious difficulty. That is applicable in all ramifications as far as life is concerned. And I'm going to come to you, Chijoke Abolu. You're an independent marketer. And you're also one of those persons, perhaps some people believe, are benefiting from this subsidy because you are a dealer. Please, let us know the nexus between independent marketers and either NMPC or government and whatever. Let us know how this fuel issue, in fact, from importation to the filling station, what transpires and what are the issues. In Enugu, for instance, and other states, outside Abuja, you get this fuel 250. In fact, in Enugu, last 2 weeks ago, about 245 per liter. Right? We are seeing the same nation, and that is obtainable in other parts of the country. Apart from Abuja, where marketers could not adjust, their price, perhaps because this is the administrative, headquarters of Nigeria. You can't do that and get away with it. But in the subnational levels, people are getting away with it. As a matter of fact, I bought 450 naira a liter as the last month in Enugu. I bought it. I'm not saying that somebody told me. 450 before it came down to 350, 380 in the same city. And we have governor, we have people who have independent marketers like you. So what are the issues?
Good morning. Point of correction. Our company, Data Analytics, Gas Analytics and Solutions, is a partner to Ipman to provide solutions to the removal of fuel subsidy. So I don't think I can. Yes.
Because I said independent marketer and
not part of it.
Yes. No, we're here to deliver the solution.
You're not an independent marketer.
No, I'm representing them.
You work with them.
Yes,
So
yes.
Again,
we're here to present a solution to the fuel subsidy issue, and to add to what Professor said and what Madam passionately mentioned. People don't realize that petroleum subsidy has so many negative ramifications, right? So with the removal of the subsidy for petrol, what people don't also know is that the transportation of petrol is subsidized.
Yes.
Transportation of petrol is mostly fueled by diesel, and like she pointed out, it's unsubsidized, right? So if you now remove petroleum subsidy, and the poor masses have to deal with the reality of moving 40 trucks of petrol by trucks that consume pay 900 liters per liter for diesel. The shock is probably going to approach over 1,000 naira. Right, so the reason why people in Abuja pay less for petrol compared to those in Enugu and Kebbi and Sokoto is probably because I don't know, maybe the subsidy of the conveyance of petrol the payment is made swiftly or whatever. But there are so many layers of subsidies going on here, and the other big one, like she mentioned, is NMPC imports 70 liters of petrol a day. 70 liters of petrol, 70 million liters of petrol a day. If you Google number of petrol generators in Nigeria, that is including Apas My Labor generators, the result that will come up is between 22 million to 100 million generators, right? I know NMPC and NMDPRA and the marketers have been invited to the House and Senate to give account why we have only 11 million cars or slightly over 11 million vehicles, and you're telling me they consume 70 million liters a day. It doesn't count, right? But if you take into account 22 to 100 million generators that run on petrol, if they consume 1 liter a day, which you and I know they consume more than 1 liter, you're talking of between 30 to 50 million liters every day. So we're not only subsidizing petrol, we're subsidizing the power sector. What happens when the light goes off? You hear generators going off all the time. So power is a big contributor to the hardships we're facing as a result of petroleum subsidy, right? So while we're waiting to join you, you mentioned that Ipman wrote to Ministry of Finance based on the partnership we have with them to look at setting up gas stations on the existing network. Now, most countries where petroleum subsidy regime were implemented, with the removal, government usually offers an option. For Nigeria, gas is that option, right? For so many reasons. We met with the president, President Buhari, last year to inform him that we'd reached an agreement with Ipman on two major products. One of them is to come up with a plan to use their network of over 30,000 filling stations, which includes both those that are operational and those that have been abandoned, to set up CNG filling stations, right, as an option. The most practical, effective, and impactful solution to fuel subsidy removal. And the second one is on a product that will address another concern that Madam raised, which no one is talking about. And that is the fact that less than 5% of Nigerians have access to clean cooking gas, which means a population of 290 million people, close to 200 million people every day, just think of this number, depend on food prepared using biomass.
Chijioke, for clarity, for the benefit of our viewers, you say that gas is a clear alternative to oil subsidy. Please explain further, because gas, I don't know how many cars that use gas in Nigeria.
Sure.
If you're talking about cooking gas, yes, but please explain further. Yes.
Sure. So your cooking gas is LPG, mostly propane and butane, but for Nigeria we use mostly butane. The gas we're talking about is natural gas, mostly methane, some C2 there, ethane, right? So the cost of, are you aware that you can buy gas in Benin City today at a price of 110 naira a liter equivalent, right? Instead of 195 naira. You can actually spend the equivalent of 110 naira to fuel your car per liter, right? And since 2007, vehicles, thousands of mass transit operators have been converted to gas in Benin. They've never had one fuel scarcity because, unlike petrol, natural gas is 100% domestic.
And we have it in abundance.
Oh, yes, it gets better. And everyone knows that the world is aggressively pushing for the decarbonization of the world, right? Now, all of us here have our opinions on why we flare gas. We're entitled to our opinions, but we're not entitled to our facts. The reason we flare close to 1 billion standard cubic feet of gas every day is there's no market for gas. There's demand for gas, clearly. At 110 naira, mind you, your diesel truck can be converted to gas. So instead of 900 naira a liter, you're paying 110. What will happen to the cost of fuel? It comes down. What will happen to the cost of transportation? It comes down, right? Additionally, it's safer. When you are in an accident with petrol, because it's liquid, it pulls on the ground where it constitutes an explosion hazard. But because natural gas is stored under high pressure, if there is an accident, it quickly evaporates. If you Google explosion as a result of an accident with a CNG vehicle in Benin, you won't find any incident.
Please, right? What does it take to convert a car to gas?
Sure. So to convert a keke, it costs about 150,000 to convert a keke to natural gas. To convert a diesel truck, probably 15 million. To convert an Uber, a 4-cylinder Uber, 350 to 400,000, right? So according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, there are 11 million vehicles in the country, about 6.7 million commercial vehicles. So for 100 billion naira, for example, you can convert about 500,000 keke and vehicles, right? If they consume 5 liters of petrol a day, we know they consume way more than that. In a year, you will spend over 300 billion to fuel less than 10% of the commercial vehicles, right? Remember, 100 billion naira to convert 500,000 vehicles. To run on gas, 100% domestic. So if you were to import petrol at 350 landing cost, the average price is between 350 to 450, but let's use 350. So to fuel just 500,000 commercial vehicles that consume 5 liters of petrol a day, you spend over 300 billion, or the equivalent of $760 million at the exchange rate, right? So for 100 billion only, not only are you removing the need for close to $1 billion.
Now,
so,
who pays for the conversion?
Pardon?
Who pays for the conversion?
So what that man is saying is CBN has 250 billion gas expansion fund. The federal government is expecting $800 million, right? A more sustainable solution will be to provide these funds in the form of easily accessible loans, right? The gas expansion was set up for people to be able to access it to support gas utilization in the country. But what we have now, from the last data I looked at, about 48 billion was disbursed, probably more than that, and 8 companies benefited from 48 billion. But if you took out 100 billion, 500,000 Nigerians will benefit from it, right? And because IPMAN has a spread to support a national rollout, right? If you only convert vehicles that are in the Niger Delta, because gas there is cheap. Now, the onion producers in Sokoto, where food is cheap, or the rice or beans, having to transport their vehicle on 900 naira a liter, we suffer. So we have cheap gas. So IPMAN has the best platform to ensure that the benefit of this gas is felt everywhere, because...
Indeed, yes. It's felt everywhere. We'll come back to that as we go deeper into the conversation. Let me bring in Professor Owaleke. One